Assalamu alaikum, வணக்கம், good evening. இவ்வளோ பவர்ஃபுல் ஸ்பீக்கர்ஸ்லாம் பேசுறதுக்கு அப்புறம் எந்த மாதிரி பேசுறதுன்னு சொல்லி தெரியல. ஐ திங்க் மைக் சார் மீட்டிங் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணும் போதே சொன்னாங்க, ஐ எம் நாட் கோயிங் டு கிவ் அ லெக்சர் டுடே, பட் யூ கேன் நெவர் டேக் அவுட் அ ப்ரொஃபஸர் ஃப்ரம் த ஒன்ஸ் அ ப்ரொஃபஸர் ஆல்வேஸ் அ ப்ரொஃபஸர். அருமையாக பேசுனீங்க மைக் சார். ஐ திங்க் இட் வாஸ் சச் அ frankly speaking, I was actually wondering how come you're here. A bunch of boys are coming, a few other people will come. Your pair I was a bit surprised. But now that you shared, your real reason for being here, I think this is what makes our country great. It's people like you. So thank you so much for taking the trouble to come here, sir. And for your sentiments. It really does mean a lot. Mike sir, probably you are aware that he is the president of Energen College. It's one of the most famous colleges there. So hearing things like veteran people like him obviously gives us a lot of... So one of the key things that I could take away from what... So one of the key things that I want to take away from what Mike Sir said is about inclusivity. I think that's one of the most critical aspects of what is keeping the whole country together. And it's sort of incumbent on every one of us to work on this whole inclusivity agenda. So inclusive, what is that UEF is trying to do for this whole agenda? Just want to explain a little bit of what we are doing. Before that, I just want to congratulate all the speakers. Rafi Poitar and Negran, I think you all heard Rafi speak, and Sister Fatima Muzaffar, forget about it. Nobody should come after her because she's such a fantastic speaker. And of course, like what Kalimullah Sharif and Rafiq Bhai said, we've got a lovely set of ladies here. It's just incredible. It's very, very nice to see so many of them there. I just want to tell them, not that they don't know, that our lives will not be complete without you all. So alhamdulillah. Mothers, sisters, daughters, I just think they make our life so much more meaningful. So it's very nice that all of them are there, and it goes without saying that we have to reciprocate the support that, to all the support that we've got from the ladies in our lives. So I just want to explain a little bit about the United Economic Forum. It was actually started by my father. 1979 start pannare, and for those of you who know, my father was a very inspirational, patriotic, philanthropic person. Ana sutti valachi adhu pathina one, he's like a social service person. Adha at the if there is one thing that for those who knew my father, enna solli kettingana, his active contribution to the social fabric of the country, I would say. The companies that my father had built, ETA was one of the companies. Dubai, we were almost 100,000 people working at that point of time. We were the largest employers of Indians there. But that whole company was a mini India. All sorts of people working from different walks of life. It was just incredible what that company could do. But the company started for a purpose of some of the companies my father had started. Adu vandu vela kudukradane panna company, just to provide employment. This was his nature. So அப்படிங்கிற பட்சத்தில் அவங்களுக்கு என்னன்னு தெரியல, like this incredible sort of love for society, for the nation. Of course, we have started school. He started schools. He has started colleges. College start we have about 18,000 students in our schools and colleges. But first and foremost, so for those of you who have read my father's history, first involvement with schooling was when he was about 15 years old. Enga urla Kilakkarila appo first English medium school start panniranga, and he was a volunteer for that school. And paatha students varalaya, school start panniyaachu, permission potachu. So what he has done is literally go around from town to town. அந்த காலத்தில் மாட்டு வண்டியில் போனாங்களே, எதில் போனாங்கன்னு தெரியல. Now I'm talking 1950s. அந்த டைமில் போயிட்டு he was garnering students so that they'll be able to come and study in the Ahmed school, எங்க ஊர்ல கிழக்கரையில் Ahmed ஸ்கூல்னு சொல்லிட்டு. So he started his social work when he was about 15 years old. ஸோ அந்த காலத்துலேருந்து ரொம்ப ஒரு ஆழமான அக்கறை அவங்களுக்கு, சமுதாயத்து மேலே ரொம்ப ஆழமான அக்கறை. படிப்படியாக அப்புறம் கம்பெனிஸ் வருது, அதுக்கப்புறம் யுனைடெட் எக்கனாமிக் ஃபாரம் வருது, and then of course he starts various companies, he does a lot of things, and UF was always very very what shall I say, ஒரு அவங்களுக்கு மனசுக்கு ரொம்ப ஒரு பிடிச்சமான ஒரு செயல், ஒரு ஏற்பாடு. எதுக்குன்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா, பிகாஸ் through UF he wanted to serve as many people in society as possible. இப்போ இந்த மாதிரி சேவை செய்கிற மக்கள் எல்லாத்தையும் எப்படி ஒன்றா கொண்டு வர்றது, how do you bring business people together, how do you bring entrepreneurs together, how do you bring intellects, much like what we're doing right here. I think it's a phenomenal turnout, and I think SYPA and Rafiq Bhai and their team deserve a big round of applause. It's fantastic. ஏன்னா இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஈவெண்ட் ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்ணி கொண்டு வர்றது பண்ணுறதுங்கிறது it takes a lot of effort, energy. So really congratulations to SYPA for having put all this together. So my father also was very much like that. அவங்கள பொறுத்த வரைக்கும், how do you bring people together, how do you create value, அவங்களுக்கு எதை எக்ஸ்பெக்ட் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. As far as he is concerned, he is not inclined to making more money or things like that. For him it was about serving society. இப்போ UEFமே வந்து that is what we are trying to do. I became president about 10-12 years back. வந்ததுலேருந்து I've been trying to figure out what are we going to do. UEFல வந்து என்னதான் செய்ய போகிறோம். I took 3 years to understand. ஏன்னா early 2010, 11, 12 period நானே யோசிச்சுட்டு இருந்தேன், எதுக்கு நம்ம வரணும், why should I come and spend time in UEF, is it really going to make sense, because I'm in my prime career at that point of time. இது சோஷியல் சர்வீஸில் வந்து இறங்கி ஏன் பண்ணணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு ரொம்ப யோசனை, frankly speaking. பட் உள்ளே வந்து we took about 3 years to study. இந்த மாதிரி ஃபஸ்ட்டு UEFனா வந்து இதுக்கு ஒரு வேலை இருக்கா, is there a role that UEF can play ன்னு சொல்லி ஸ்டடி பண்ணுறதுக்கே 3 வருஷம் ஆச்சு. அப்புறம் உள்ளே இறங்கி பார்க்கும்போது then we figured out there are other international chambers which are very much like UEF. பேருமே வந்து WIEF. Some of my colleagues, Azam Bhai, Maluk and all came. We all went to Malaysia to see the World Islamic Economic Forum. அதே மாதிரி பேர், World Islamic Economic Forum, United Economic Forum, World Economic Forum, பார்த்தா எல்லாமே வந்து சிமிலரான பேர். So all these organizations are trying to create value for the society, the community, the nation. World Economic Forum has an international agenda. WIF, World Islamic Economic Forum, has an Islamic world agenda. United Economic Forum has a community and a national agenda. எப்படின்னா ஒரு முன்மாதிரியான மக்களை எப்படி ஒன்றா கொண்டு வர்றது, how do you create a society which is inspirational, how do you bring together people who are inspirational for society, how do you create inspirational value. நம்ம ஒன்றா இருந்தால் தான் அதை வந்து என்னன்னு சொல்லி நம்ம நிர்ணயிக்க முடியும். If we are not together, and we need to have, in the American parlance, BHAG அப்படிம்பாங்க, big hairy audacious goals. அதாவது ரீச் பண்ண முடியாத மாதிரி ஒரு கோலாக இருக்கணுமா. It should be such a big goal that it's difficult but may be possible. அப்படி ஒரு கோலாக இருக்கணும். ஸோ அப்படியே மாதிரி இருக்கும்போது, so we said, why don't we also have goals like this in the UEF? ஏன்னா கோலை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் it's not about Ahmed Buhari or Abdul Qadir or Imran or Salih. It's about the community. So community, nation, countryங்கிற பட்சத்தில் we need to set very high, very ambitious targets. What's going to happen? Even progressing an inch is a progress from where we are. ஒரு இன்ச்சு ப்ரோக்ரஸ் பண்ணாலுமே அப்படியே நிற்கிறதுக்கு, if you progress an inch, you've already progressed, right? So we've taken an effort. So நிறைய பேர் வந்து என்னை கேட்டாங்க, என்னப்பா பண்ணிட போற நீ UEFல, what are you going to do? Lot of naysayers. No, this is not going to happen, that's not going to happen, this will not move, that will not move, because it's a lot of effort which goes in, trying to bring people together, chamber, organizing and everything. So numbers work out பண்ணோம். So we try to figure out, first வந்து ஒரு உன்னத சமுதாயம், ஒரு எடுத்துக்காட்டான ஒரு சமுதாயம் நம்ம எப்படி இருக்கிறது. Not only us, anybody who's associated with us, all the people who are associated with us, அவங்களுமே எப்படி ஒரு முன்மாதிரியாக இருக்க முடியும். How do we bring all these people together? How do we create value for the UEF logo? பார்த்தீங்கன்னா you will see 3 little circles. So we'd like to say in UEF that நடுவில் இருக்க சர்க்கிள் வந்து is UEF. அதை வந்து if you look at, can you see the logo? Yeah. நடுவில் pink வந்து is supposed to be the UEF. UEF should create value for the state, for the society, which is the next circle. and then UEF creates value across the world. And we welcome people, support everything from different parts of the world, north, south, east, west, so to say. So this is supposed to convey the UEF story. So this is what we are trying to do in the UEF. We are about 500 members there. Next please, of course it was started by my father. Next. Some of the transactions that we've been involved in. I think the one transaction that I'm very, very happy that we were involved in is a company called Twin Health. Brother Nizam is sitting here. His brother Nizam is Maluk is the one who started the company along with this person called Jahangir. And this is the power of network, the power of ideas, the power of network, the power of the community coming together. The company's valuation is supposed to be about $1.5, $1.7 billion. But valuation or pakka irukattum. Valuation or pakka irukattum. That's one part of the story. Valuation may go up, valuation may go down. But they have treated 60,000 patients of diabetes. 60,000. And the last time I heard, they have signed a $4 billion transaction with Walmart. So, இப்போ எப்படின்னா இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு மீட் வருது, அந்த மீட்ல வந்து ஆளுக்கு மீட் பண்றாங்க, two people are meeting, and I still remember when Jahangir came for the first time. வந்து இறங்கிட்டாரு, வந்து பார்த்தப்பறம் ஒரே பயங்கர சந்தோஷம் இருக்கு. We had no idea who he was. ஏதோ ஒரு மெயில் அனுப்புறோம், எங்கேயோ ஒரு ஆள் இருக்காரு, ஏதோ கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்றோம், கான்ஃபரன்ஸுக்கு ஸ்பீக்கரை கூப்பிடுறோம், ஸ்பீக்கர் வந்து எங்கேயோ இருக்கார், அமெரிக்காவில் உட்கார்ந்துட்டு இருக்காரு, யார் எவரெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் தெரியல, ஏதோ ஜஹாங்கீர் முகமது சரி ஒரு பாய் போல இருக்கு, ஏதோ ட்ரை பண்ணி பார்ப்போம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு பிளைண்ட் கால் தான். இந்த அண்ணன் வந்து இறங்கிடுறாரு, பார்த்தா then he comes and says, I know Crescent University, அங்கே வந்து நான் அப்ளை பண்ணேன். He told me all this. I applied, I couldn't get admission, I couldn't afford the fees. So I went to PSG college. அம்மாப்பட்டினம் அவர் சொந்த ஊர். ஸோ அம்மாப்பட்டினம் வந்து படிக்கிறாரு, கவர்மெண்ட் ஸ்கூலில் படிக்கிறாரு, அதுக்கப்புறம் அமெரிக்காவுக்கு போகிறாரு, அதுக்கப்புறம் அங்கே கம்பெனி ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறாரு. ஹிஸ் கம்பெனிஸ் கெட் சோல்ட் டு சிஸ்கோ. அதுக்கப்புறம் நம்மளோட ஒன்றா வந்துட்டு he starts his company with Maluk, and today that company has 60,000 patients. It may become 100,000. They're targeting, I think, 1 million patients with diabetes. Completely technology-driven company. AI, IoT, ML, and they're just ahead of the curve in terms of what they're doing. They've got Satya Nadella and investors like this. And UEF is also a shareholder, by the way. So we're very grateful to Twins Health for having allotted the shares to us. And so we want to be part of creating value for society, for the nation. That's what really UEF is trying to do, right? So these are some of the transactions. Next please. Now in terms of numbers, like I said earlier, நிறைய பேர் வந்து கேட்பாங்க, அஹ்மத் புகாரி ட்ரில்லியன் கணக்கில் பேசுவார், கொஞ்ச நாள் ஒரு ஆள் சொன்னாங்க பில்லியனில் தான் பேசுவார் அப்படின்னு. அதெல்லாம் முன்னாடி, இப்போ ட்ரில்லியனில் தான் பேசுவோம். காசா பணமா? It's just, imagining, right? We are not thinking only for ourselves. We are thinking for our nation. We are thinking for our country. This is none of your business. This is something for the government to think about. This is for the politicians to think about. This is for this and that. We are all part of the nation. But when we are part of the nation, it's also incumbent on us to jointly drive the story. It's not just the political people. It's the society at the end of the day. So society think பண்ணும்போது, what is wrong with that? We're just thinking, அதுக்கப்புறம் you're bringing in ideas and plans, and just like how Twins Health happened. We were thinking, ஒரு imagination, wild mail அனுப்புறோம், ஆள் வர்றாங்க, கம்பெனி ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறாங்க, அதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த மாதிரி வேல்யூவேஷன் வருது. So then we are like, oh man, this is happening. There is really something happening, right? There is value being created. So value போது, why not put numbers to it, right? And then the performance goals, எப்பவுமே சொல்லுவாங்க smart goals, specific, measurable, accountable, time oriented, and one more, achievable, realistic, time bound, right, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும்போது, so we have put some targets as far as the country, the state and everything. சும்மா போட்ட math போட்டு work out பண்ண numbers தான். So இன்னைக்கு வந்து Muslim community roughly is about supposed to be $18 billion. Exact numbers I have no idea, right? So நம்ம ஒரு 7%, 8% growth rate போனோம்னா the community GDP will go to 135 billion. Before that, let me talk about Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இன்னைக்கு it's a $360 billion economy. It's about 400 billion. Tamil Nadu, we are the second largest economy in India. நிறைய பேருக்கு உங்களுக்கு தெரியும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். It's really something we have to be very proud of. So, second largest economy in India. And இன்னைக்கு வந்து about 7-8% growth rate it will become 2.7 trillion in the next only 22 years. Not a very long time, right? ஏன்னா இப்போ rapid grow ஆயிட்டு இருக்குது. If you look at how fast the state and the country and everything is growing, so இதில் வந்து where are we as a community? இப்போ நம்ம வந்து we are about $18 billion is our, supposed to be our GDP. About 7-8% grow பண்ணா 135 billion. Now if we grow at 9%, we will become a $200 billion plus community, right? So 200 billion போது it seems very far-fetched. Ana, if we were to look at it from a per unit basis, quite simply put, இப்போ என்னன்னா, how do we take things 10x? இப்போ இன்னைக்கு 18 billion நம்ம community-na, how do we all work together to take it to 200 billion? If Tamil Nadu is $400 billion economy, how do we support it to become 4 trillion? அதில் வந்து நம்ம எல்லாரும் நம்ம contribution, right? நம்ம எந்த அளவுக்கு பண்ண முடியுமோ, because we cannot lift the entire state's load. நம்மளால என்ன load lift பண்ண முடியுமோ அந்த அளவுக்கு நம்ம பண்றோம். Same thing UEF tries to do, and UEF cannot do it by itself. UEF is not the only organization. Then this is where we need the help of each and every one of you, SYPA, other organizations. We have to collaborate together for this story, right? And it's made up of individuals, right? At the end of the day, SYPA, UEF, RIFA, Minara, is all made up of people, right? So the unit economics in solli potomna. So now you are saying the backpack. Now you are saying what we are trying to do, 10x. Quite simply put, இன்னைக்கு வந்து 18 to 20 billion. We need to take it to 220 to 40 billion, 10x from where we are today. State-க்கு அதே கதை தான். They are at about 400 billion. I don't want to quote this. கொஞ்சம் senior level ஆட்களை பார்க்கும்போது சொன்னாங்க, state is only talking 1 trillion. Why are you talking of 4 trillion? Because when the state is now talking 1 trillion, how come we are talking? I said very simple. We are all on the Dravidian Express. The Dravidian Express will take us to 1 trillion first. The same Dravidian Express, right, even if it slows down, it will still take us to 4 trillion. So we are all on the same train. So welcome on board the Dravidian Express. Let's put it that way, right? Next. So basically, how are we all going to cooperate to create a 10x value for each other? This is the story. Next, please. இது வந்து நம்ம அந்த 200 billion delta reach பண்றதுக்குள்ள numbers, different parameters இருக்கு. So if somebody is doing 10 lakhs turnover, how do you support them to become 1 crore? If somebody is doing 1 crore turnover, how do you go to 10 crores? If it's a 10 crore, how do you go to 100 and multiples? 100 goes to 1,000, 1,000 goes to 10,000, and the mari. So how do we sort of collaborate with each other and support each other for this sort of value creation? இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு ஃபார்முலா போட்டிருக்கோம். Obviously we need to cooperate, collaborate, all of us have to work together for us to create value for ourselves and for the state. That's what the UEF is trying to do. Next. So this is another very interesting slide. So I said the 200 billion நம்ம value இப்போ create பண்ண try பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். The value create பண்ண exerciseல உள்ள இறங்கும்போது பார்த்தா one of the very 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 important treasures, I would say, are our education institutions. I'm sure Mike sir will agree, and the educators here will agree. Education institutions சொல்லி பார்க்கும்போது in terms of value creation, இன்னைக்கு IIT Madras Research Park is one of the most well-known startup centers in the whole of India. அங்குள்ள companies உடைய valuation வந்து 45,000 crores. 45,000 crores is the valuation of the institution there. That same formula can be copied in all the other institutions. So I've been discussing with AMS College, MAM College in Mumbai. Of course, Parvez has been really the champion running with the story in Crescent. So where we have 140 companies and about 3,000 crore plus valuation. And if we try to how can we support the CIC in present story go right across the state for other institutions as well. How do we share the formula? Because we have got such a big lift to do. Number one, 400 billion has to go to 4 trillion. That is what we are trying to do. So, and then various chambers, education institutions target set panna, it will be very interesting, I feel. Each institution sets a financial target. In the time achieve we can sort of set a target. So this is what we are working on. Next. So we are trying to video is there, sorry. So we're going to host a summit, inshallah, December 12, 13, 14. Attend. We are most welcome to attend. We have to all cooperate. The tagline is 4TN 4TN. So inshallah, support. Please come and attend. Thank you very much.